Hello again, everyone. Zagatech is here. My thoughts on the nominees that's been unveiled for the class of 2017 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. But who is nominated for induction this year to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I'll give you my thoughts on who is on the ballot, who isn't on the ballot, who I feel should be in the class of 2018. But my 5 picks of the 5 acts of the current batch of nominees who I think should be in this year. So, let's get rolling with, there's a lot of great people this year. A lot of first-time nominees and some repeat offenders. Let's get to some of the first-time nominees. First, before I get to the repeat offenders. One of the biggest first-time nominees in the first year of eligibility, for those who don't follow the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, you're eligible after 25 years from your first release. Where it's been 25 years since 10. So that means, yes, eligible this year for class of 17, Pearl Jam. And there's no doubt about it, they're probably going to get in. What do I have to say about Pearl Jam? One of the most influential bands from the grunge era that's not in the Hall of Fame yet. Nirvana went in a couple years ago. Now it's Pearl Jam's tour. You know, the classic album from Tame to Versus to Vitalogy and more recent work. They have influenced tons and tons of bands and tons of copycats, especially you, Creed. Scott Stapp, you can't deny you basically copied the vocal style of Eddie Vedder in your work. No doubt about it. And I think it's been inevitable for years these guys will get in when they're eligible, and now they are eligible, and they're definitely got the big chance of getting in. Another big first-time nominee, Tupac Shakur, being eligible this year. His first album came out in 91, so now he's eligible. 20 years after his untimely passing, Tupac tries to become, I gotta count right, Grandmaster Flash, Public Enemy, Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, and NWA. 5 rap acts in the Hall of Fame. I know a lot of people have a little bit of prejudice towards that, especially Eugene Simmons. But rap does have a place in the Hall of Fame. When it comes to Tupac, its influence, he's probably one of the best rappers of all time. Said he's been dead for 20 years. From influential albums from Tupac Clips Now, Me Against the World, and the ever eternal All Eyes on Me, with hits like California Love on that album, America's Most Wanted. He had so many great gangster rap classics. So still playing the radio today. Keep Your Head Up. Very influential rapper. Is probably cited as one of the best rappers of all time next to Biggie. Won't be long till he's eligible. Because Ready to Die came out in 94. So probably class of 2020 will see Biggie eligible. So there you go. Tupac. And if you haven't noticed by my shirt, I'm happy that after 10 years, they've been eligible for 10 years now. Because as mentioned, you're eligible after 25 years from your first release. And it's been 35 years since their release of Speak and Smell. Finally happy to see these guys on the ballot. My boys from Mansfield, as I call them. Andy, Morton, Dave, Allen, and I'll count Vince Clark. Depeche Mode is on the ballot this year for the first time ever. They are one of the most influential synth-pop bands of the most recent century. Their albums, classics like Violator, Songs of Faith and Devotion, Music for the Masses. They probably influenced a lot of bands. And they are still going. They just announced a new album last week, Spirit, the European tour dates, we're in US dates. Seen them in 09 in Toronto, Canada. They were absolutely fantastic. Crew members are Dave Gahan, Martin Gore, and Andy Fletcher. Now, big question would be, will Vince Clarke and Alan Wilder be there if they get in? Probably will. They probably will be there. And when they play with them, they probably will too. So I would love to see him get in this year, definitely. Or at all. the first time on the ballot. It's awesome to see him get the respect because they kind of get underrated by a lot of people. And now with this honor being bestowed on them, being nominated for the Hall of Fame, it's awesome. Sticking with the alternative kick, another first-time nominee, Jane's Addiction, getting in the ballot for the first time ever. Very influential alternative band from the late 80s, early 90s, with hits like Jane Says, Mountain Song, and Been Caught Stealing. Because the founder of the band is the founder of one of the most influential and one of the most respected alternative festivals of all time, Lollapalooza, which is still going. Beat as a weekend show in Chicago at Grant Park. With the great musicianship, the drumming of Stevie Perkins, the bass work of Eric Avery, and the massive guitar work from Dave Navarro, who I think, is he counted as a member of the Chili Peppers in the Hall of Fame? Because Chili Peppers are in the Hall of Fame, and he was a member of the Chili Peppers at one point. So he might be a two-time Hall of Famer if he's counted as a member of the Chili Peppers in the Hall of Fame. If Jane Addiction gets in. So congrats to them on their first-time nomination. Also, we have Bad Brains, the hardcore punk rockers. Don't know them that well. Also, Joan Baez is finally on the ballot after years. And Judy's finally on the ballot this year. They've been eligible for a long time, and they're finally on the ballot with a lot of classic rock staples like Steve Miller getting in, Cheap Trick getting in last year. Now it's time for some of these guys to get in finally. These AMFM Walk from the 70s that critics slammed like Cheap Trick and all these bands, and now Judy's probably going to get in. Don't stop believing! That's all I gotta say. But no one knows they started out as an instrumental band back in the early 70s, founded by Neil Sean and Greg Worley, former members of Santana. They had a few experimental albums, but then they hired Steve Perry as the lead singer, along with Greg Worley shared some lead vocals on the early albums with Steve till Steve took full front center as the singer of the group. Of some of the biggest hits, besides Don't Stop Believing, you had Wheel in the Sky, Lights, Any Way You Want It, Open Arms, Faithfully, Separate Ways. They had additional members like Jonathan Cain helping out, and really influencing the sound of Journey, especially in the 80s on albums like Escape and Frontiers. So they broke up, reunited, and now they're currently touring together. Steve Smith is back in the group after years away, after their recent drummer got arrested for drugs. And I see him in 2014 with fellow Hall of Famer, could be fellow Hall of Famer if they get in, Steve Miller Band. And there was a great package. Of course, the biggest question of all, if Judy does get in, which they deserve to get in, I think they will Steve Perry show up? And more importantly, will he sing with Journey? Starting to do some public singing again and one-off appearances, like guest appearances at some people's concerts. So, won't be any drama like other bands that have members that left and don't show up, like what happened with Chicago with Peter Cetera not showing up. So, there you go. I'd love to see Steve Perry show up and sing with Journey. Other big first-time nominees, we have ELO, Electric Light Orchestra. Jeff Lynne, very influential composer and producer. Taking the Beatles sound influence to a whole nother level with great works of art like Living Thing, Evil Woman, Mr. Blue Sky. I've been playing that a lot at my gigs recently. I just love that song. Along with Don't Bring Me Down, Turn the Stone, and the ELO's back together again, a new lineup by Jeff. They've been doing some one-off touring, appearances and award shows and stuff. It'll be a perfect time for them to get in the Hall of Fame with a little resurgence. Also, first time, wow, cannot believe they have not gotten a name. Steppenwolf is on the ballot. Known for two big jukebox classics, Born to Be Wild and Magic Carpet Ride. And that's mostly about it. You know, they had no big albums. But still, they're trying to get all these big rock bands in that they've been rejecting for so long, like all these classic rock bands that aren't in yet. They still got a lot more work to do when it comes to like really good bands getting in. Like No Priest on the ballot. Why not Motorhead on the ballot? I'm all used to finally put Motorhead on the ballot after Lemmy passed away. They're not on the ballot this year. Motorhead, young you. Like, maybe next year they'll be in for the class of 2018. So that's my thoughts on some of the bands that should have been on the ballot this year. You know, Motorhead and Priest. Especially Motorhead, especially with Lemmy dying. At least Deep Purple went in last year, so they're still working on getting some big rock bands in. So that's my thoughts on who's not on the ballot and also some of the first timers. Also, we got some repeat offenders. Shaka Khan's on the ballot again. She was Ghost lead singer of Rufus, had her own solo career with hits like I Feel For You, that was written by the late great Prince. So she's on the ballot again. Also, finally on the ballot again, second time, Janet Jackson. It's interesting. Michael and Madonna went in first year of eligibility, first time on the ballot. Janet has to work a little bit harder to get in. You know, this is a second time. You know, she was passed over last year, and I think she will get in at one point. Michael's in! And Janet is considered by many as the real queen of pop of many people. That's, you know, not Madonna. Madonna's the queen, in my mind, and Janet's the princess. I know some people may think Madonna's the princess and Janet's the queen, but I love them both. You know, I've seen Janet on an All For You tour in 2001. She was fantastic. And what better time to be on the ballot than this year's the 30th anniversary of Control. Her first really good album. But my favorite is definitely Revelation. Let's take Revelation. Other repeat offenders on the ballot for the third time. Yes! On the ballot again this year. You're very impressed with rock band. Genesis is in. So it says that Yes is not in yet. Chic. 10 times Chic is in the ballot. And they've not got in yet. They won't give up on getting Chic in. They won't give up. Every year Chic's on the fucking ballot. And Chic with Nile Rodgers got some momentum. They've been touring Duran Duran all summer. And Nile Rodgers produced and wrote songs for David Bowie's album, Let's Dance. So it might be momentum to get him in. Also, one side note. Back to Janet Jackson. If Janet Jackson gets in, please induct as non-performers Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, the producers of her famous albums, and other people too, members of the time. So that's what should happen. If Janet Jackson goes in, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis should go in too as non-performers. That's my opinion. There was as big of an influence to Janet as she was. Also, the Zombies, they're on the ballot again. Just in time, they are going back on the road to perform their 1968 album in entirety that featured The Seasons of Love. And even the lead singer and founding member Colin Blunstone released a statement about being nominated again, saying that I'm thrilled beyond words. It's been such an exciting year for the band, and we're honored to even be considered. And Raw Argent said, this has felt like a special 12 months period for us. They've been touring for the last couple months, performing a 1968 album. Odyssey and Oracle, they just announced new tour dates for next year, including in Detroit. So they got a little bit of resurgence. And hell, Eminem even sampled them on Marshall Mathers LP too. Sampled Time of the Season. I said Seasons of Love, but it's Time of the Season. That's the big song. Speaking of Detroit, where Eminem's based out of, a Detroit garage rock band's on the ballot again, and that's MC5. I would like to see him get in just to see that they should do, if they didn't get in, the All-Star Jam session should be, kick out the jams, motherfucker! Wayne Kramer released a statement about the chances of them getting in. saying that I had a mission for the fame when I started, and being in a Hall of Fame was never part of it. It's a good thing to be recognized for your work. The band has never achieved great commercial success and wealth in any of that, kind of like their fellow Detroit garage rock band rockers who are in the Hall of Fame, Iggy Pop and the Stooges. If they're in, MC5 should be in. But I think our contribution was significant. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I guess I'll leave it up to the people, all my musicians, all my brothers and sisters that work in the amusement industry to recognize the significance of the MC5, which they always have. The musicians have always been the band's greatest champions. So MC5 nominated again. Let's see him get in. Another band nominated again. A band that is not from Detroit, but is beloved in Detroit. It's like the second home. They are based out of Boston, referring to the John Giles Band. On the ballot, yet again. Once again, Lost, Looking for Love, Hard Driving Man. You know, so many classic rock hits, and of course their MTV era hits like Centerfold and Freeze Frame. Also nominated again, Joe Kicks and The Cause for the second year in a row. A lot of fans on Facebook have been rallying for The Cause to get on the ballot. They finally did last year, but they had so many other power pop rock groups in that same ballot last year, with Cheap Trick getting in over them. So, there you go. So here are my 5 picks of who, because they always like to induct 5. My 5 picks of who I feel should be in the Hall of Fame class of 2017. Obviously, Pearl Jam. It's my number 1 pick, because they're too obvious to get in. To not get in, especially on the first try. You know, of all the first time people, they're getting in. So they're definitely getting in. Another pick, Depeche Mode, be biased here, because I'm a Depeche fan. I would love to see him get in when it comes to the chances. The alternative scene from the late 80s is not represented enough in the Hall of Fame. You know, the Cure's not in, the Smiths are not in. So the Bash would be the first alternative band from the 80s to get in. I think the first alternative band, to be honest, I'm a big Depeche fan, but I think the Cure and the Smiths should get in before the Depeche does. Because they have a little bit more influence and more iconic status than my boys in Depeche Mode. Not to say they have as much influence as the other two bands. But I'm still biased towards my boys in Depeche. My 3rd pick to get in this year, Janet Jackson. It's time for her. You know, she's got a baby on the way. A great accomplishment for her. She just turned, I think she just turned 50. She was born in 66, so she's like 50 now. You know, 30th anniversary of Control this year, going into next year, and I'd love to see her get in. That's my 3rd pick to get in. 4th pick to get in. I'll pick her. I'll do it. I'll pick her Poetic Justice co-star, Tupac Shakur, to get in. You know, rap is getting a lot of people in the door. You know, NWA finally got in after 2 tries, and because they're on the same ballot the same year Public Enemy was. And Tupac is a very influential rapper. He will probably get in at one point. He'll probably get in first time. So that's my 4th pick. 5th pick. Very tough to pick the 5th because I always do 5. I would do Journey. That's my 5th pick, is Journey. They deserve to get in there. And they get a lot of these FM Walk bands in. I mentioned Journey. Peers like Cheap Trick getting in. And also Steve Miller Band. Maybe this will open the door for Styx to get in. And then Band to finally get in. And Bon Jovi. If Journey does get in. So that's my 5 picks to get in for this year. Top 5 picks for the Hall of Fame class of 2017. Pearl Jam, Depeche Mode, Janet Jackson, Tupac Shakur, and Journey. If not any of those, I would pick as alternates ELO, MC5, Jay Giles, The Cars, and maybe Yes just to shut those Yes fans up. So, there you go. Some of my picks, my thoughts on the new inductees of the Hall of Fame when it comes to 2018. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to be in next, who's going to be eligible next year, for the class of 2018. You know, we got Wage eligible next year. They're going in. I think Wage is going in when they are eligible next year. TLC is eligible next year. It'll be 25 years since Ooh on the TLC tip. I think they should get in. Dr. Dre, interesting because his NWA is already in, so I think he should get in. Also eligible Mary J. Blige, maybe should be in, but STP eligible next year. Oh, they should go in. They're going in next year when they're eligible. Sublime, probably. Yes, they'll probably get in. First year. PJ Harvey's eligible next year. I don't think she'll get in. So, like, even if you're eligible, that doesn't mean you're on the ballot right away. As I mentioned, there's many bands that have been eligible for years that have not been nominated. Depeche Mode has been eligible for 10 years, and they finally got in the ballot this year. The Indigents probably been nominated, probably been eligible for years, and they are finally on the ballot. Bad Brains, same thing. They've been eligible for years too, and they're finally on the ballot. Chaka Khan, first time ever too. Not first time ever, but she's been eligible. Finally got in. And yeah, same thing. Steppenwolf, ELO, they've been eligible for years, and they're finally on the ballot this year. So there you go. My thoughts on the nominees for the Hall of Fame, and who I think should go in next year. That my 5 picks. They'll probably announce the full-on list of inductees sometime around December, January. Because that's when the induction ceremony does go on sale. Last couple of years, they've been... Every 3 years it's in Cleveland, but it's not in Cleveland this year. It'll be probably in New York or LA. And the ceremony will air on HBO sometime next May. Because I've had that deal. I think it's the best thing that's ever happened in the Hall of Fame. It's commercial-free and uncensored. To have it on HBO. It's awesome. So that's it for my thoughts video on the Hall of Fame class. Possible Walkable Hall of Fame class of 2017. With that in mind, you've been attacked by the thoughts from Zach. See you later. Bye-bye.